BLOCKLORDS has been under development since 2018 and recently they announced a Play2Airdrop Campaign. Plus, they consider themselves the first grand strategy game on the blockchain. But so far, there's not much strategy in raising cows and protecting your village against chicken invasions. And this kind of raises the question, is it worth to play BLOCKLORDS in 2024? Goatfather here, and today we're going to talk about the IMX title, BLOCKLORDS. So, when you hear the word strategy, you imagine yourself flanking your opponent with cavalry and then raiding his encampment with infantry and then sieging strongholds and that kind of stuff. You don't really imagine yourself milking cows and managing a village. But right now, that's how the game is. BLOCKLORDS is a farming game at this stage, right? So you're going to have multiple squads and you have to manage a village, and then you send some squads to milk cows, and then some other squads are gonna pick up fruit in the woods, so you have food for everyone. There's one really cool feature which I like, which are the random events. Sometimes random stuff happens and you have to make a decision, and some decisions might benefit your village, while other decisions might be harmful and might make you lose resources. So that's a cool feature, but after you play the game for 1 week, you're going to know all the events and it's not going to be fun anymore. But the reason why BLOCKLORDS is a farming game is because the game is not complete, alright? So farming is like 10% of what BLOCKLORDS is going to be in the future. Actually, accordingly to the white paper, you're going to be able to become either a knight or a raider or a conqueror, or you can keep living your simple life as a farmer, alright? So all of this to say that the scope of the game is going to be much larger. Actually, the team is quite ambitious because they're not just aiming to build a grand strategy game, because that was done before, right? They're aiming to build a grand strategy game that integrates with the blockchain and has a player-driven economy with two tokens at its core. The token Ale and the token Lords. Recently they announced a Play2Airdrop Campaign where some of the early birds are gonna get their hands on some free tokens. To be more specific, the Lords token, which means that the team aims to implement this token on the ecosystem really soon. But now you must be wondering, how is all of this going to work out? Is this going to be sustainable in the long term? Well, the truth is that no one knows, alright? So we have to wait and see, and it might be sustainable in the long term if there's good utility for the tokens and if the game is genuinely good. And I mean the game, I'm talking about the combat system, alright? Because that's what is going to hook players into the game. Then, when it comes to the graphics, they're solid, they're updated graphics, they look good. Actually, when it comes to cinematics, they are amazing. I think the team really put a lot of effort into the cinematics. Now, talking about the team, the game is being developed by Metaking Studios and I tried to dig a little deeper, but in their website, all their links redirect me to one thing. BLOCKLORDS, alright? So I couldn't find any other games that they've built, alright? Which doesn't mean that they don't have experience, but pretty much all the information about these studios redirects me to BLOCKLORDS. Now, when it comes to backers and partners, they have Animoca brands, alright? They're very well known in Web3 gaming, Polygon, IMX, that's the ecosystem where they are, Shima Capital, and Square Enix. Okay, so that's a big name to have on your website. Now, how is Square Enix involved in this game? I didn't really find any information about this. I don't know if they're helping with the funds or if they're like supporting the development. We really don't know, but I think that having Square Enix as a partner, that's a really green flag, alright? So by now we should have enough information to answer the question of the video. Is it worth to play BLOCKLORDS in 2024? So from my perspective, I think it's worth to play BLOCKLORDS in 2024, yes, for three main reasons. One, you really like farming games because that's what BLOCKLORDS is at this moment. Two, you want to earn some free Lords tokens in the Play2Airdrop campaign that is ongoing And 3, you really believe in the project and you want to be early and you want to get an edge over other players. So personally, I'm playing it for the tokens and because I believe in the project. I believe that they're going to deliver some really cool combat system that is going to bring lots of players to the ecosystem, and I'm quite curious about it. So I want to develop my farm so that when they release this combat system, I'm going to have an edge over other players and my farm is already going to be leveled up and I'm going to be able to recruit a lot of warriors to go raid other players. So those are the reasons why I am playing, okay? But I think that, yeah, BLOCKLORDS has the problem that all the other Web3 games have at this stage, which is it's not complete, okay? So you're only playing 10% of what the game aims to be. That's an industry problem. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the metaverse.